guys, welcome back to Keyforge Indonesia with me Schyse, and this is we're continuing our KOTE9 series, and we are in top 16 round right now. So top 16 will be elimination round, and before we go into the video, I do want to give a special thanks to one of our supporter, which is Eski. Eski, thank you for your huge support for this Keyforge Indonesia community. If you guys like this community, you can support us by simply subscribing and join our Facebook group, and then support us and join our activity we have. We hold our own tournament beside this KOTE9 series, and there's a lot of stuff that we have in our community. So if you like that, you can join Facebook group, and then we'll help you from there. So let's get back to the game. So this game is round 16. I'm playing against KeytoHamburg. So this is reversal match, which basically means my opponent is going to play my deck, which is Taciturn, and I'm going to play his deck. So the deck is pretty similar, Taciturn and this one. There's a disc, the disc house, which is a control house, and then there is Untamed that has pretty also similar creature. We have Amber Spine, and our opponent, which is Taciturn, also has Amber Spine. But if you don't know, the deck that I'm playing actually SAS 93. So the huge difference is the logos. Logos here just give a lot much more efficiency than the Star Alliance in Taciturn. So let's see, is it really that far? Is it really the power gap really that far between SAS 93 and 975? Although the style of gameplay is pretty similar, but the deck that I'm playing right now just have better cards. Okay, so the setup not very bombastic, I guess. We just set up with our creature one by one, and this is turn 3, I believe. Right now is turn 3. So I have 3 Untamed cards in my hand, and then I just play my Untamed card and play Dark Ember Vault, which is not very ideal to play the not Dark Ember Vault, what is it called? The card that gives you Ember for every mutant creature on your battle line, but also give your opponent's Ember for every mutant creature in the opponent's battle line. And here I have Fandango, which is mutant, and my opponent have Pismire, which is mutant, so we both get 1. It's not very ideal because we do have more mutant creature, and if we actually have, I believe, 3 Pismire in this deck, so that's 3 more mutant creature at least that we can use to get more Ember. Okay, so our opponent has played Snaret to control one of our Ember, and here we have 2 choices, Logos or this. But if we play this, I don't know if we want to wipe the board with Kiksuno. But let's see, what we want to do is we do have Infernus to control the Ember of our opponents. There are 2 cards, which is Implosion and Rapid Evolution, so 2 Ember loss. And then we also have Mark of this, that if we basically damage one of our opponent's creature and the creature is not dead, then our opponent needs to choose that creature's house during his next turn. And we do have all the 3 choices: Star Alliance, Untamed, and this. He just played this last turn, so there is a consideration to deal damage to this creature, and then we wipe the board with Skixuno. So why we hit this creature? Because he just played this, right? So our assumption he have played all the discard in his hand. So if he draw the cards, the probability he got more all discard from the draw is pretty low. That's why we played this, and as you can see, he barely didn't play anything. He just played I think Steering Grave to Archive, because we wipe with Skixuno. Now the board is clear and we force our first key, and then we just try to be efficient by playing the Logos, and we managed to archive 3 cards, which all of them are Logos cards, so that's pretty good for us. And then now our opponents play Untamed. The Untamed card, there's still Savage Class, the board clear, there is still Cephalois. Cephalois prevents steal, but I don't think our deck steal that much from have a lot of steal. We don't have Shadow, so it just set up some creatures, some Untamed creatures. We can place Inverness again to reduce the Ember again. There's Steering Grave, so that's 1 Ember, I believe. Skixuno can be used to fight Nivel Ape if we want, but oh yeah, there is also Snaret, so we can purge the Snaret. It's very good. Reducing 1 Ember, and the Snaret is very good creature and troublesome creature, so that way our opponent will not get his Snaret back. Yeah, I think it's pretty good setup. I think we are still in control of the game at this point. With our hands also, no, our hands is not that useful. I mean, it's pretty slow if we play Untamed, because the 3 creature we just play, and it does nothing for a turn because it is still, they are still exhausted. And the Reclaim by Nature basically useless in this deck because Taciturn have 0 artifact. And then there's this one creature that is KOTE, which is the worst creature in Keyforge. It has 1 power and it cannot rip. So why? Because it's actually, I think it's a given if the Untamed deck, your Untamed house have Xenos Blood Shadow, you will also get KOTE. Xenos Blood Shadow is one of the most powerful creature with Hazardous, Skirmish, Poison, and Elusive, I think. Hazardous, Skirmish, Poison, and Elusive, I think, yeah. And then if you have that powerful creature, you also get KOTE, the most useless creature. So now this one, for efficiency, yeah, we need to play the Untamed card. We still want to keep our Logos in our archive because one of them is Effervescent Principle. That means it's a good Ember control in case our opponent have a very good combo, very good hand, and somehow he bursts the Ember into more than 6 or 8. Like that, we can use the Effervescent Principle to reduce a lot of Ember. Okay, right now our opponent have 6 Ember, but we do have 2 Pismire. So his key cost is 10. He cannot forge right now, but then he used Savage Class to clean the board. And then he have Nature's Call. Yep, now he bursts the Ember to 8. I think this is a pretty good chance to use the Effervescent Principle. we reduce 4 to our opponent, but we also reduce 2 Ember for us, and we got 1 chain, but I think that's fine because we also have Letologica and QMAC. We'll draw some card, and then there's also Daughter in our archive. So if we let our opponent force the key, alternatively we can play this. But as you can see here, we have a Grim Reminder, so we need to check our discard pile. What creatures can we get from Grim Reminder? But I don't think there is any. No, basically our discard pile. There's not much good creature that we can get back from Grim Reminder currently. So I think the most effective way right now is to play Logos first. As you can see, we draw a lot of Logos card. We have Informa from that's not even from Letologica, it's just from Draw Pip from Daughter. So the Letologica then give us Sloppy Lab Work, which means we can archive 1 more card and then discard 1 card that we don't use. What we want to archive, basically what we want to discard is Flume because it's a slow creature, so we don't need that. So the one that we archive actually just Savage Class. Support wipe, it's good to have it available for us every time. So we archive the Savage Class. And here, bouncing that Quark, we have the choice whether we want to clear the board if we want to, or we want just to stop because we have 3 creatures and our opponent have 2 creatures, which actually Nivel Ape is a good target to be destroyed because it ignores elusive, so it can be used to fight our Daughter. We don't want that, so that's why we destroy Skixuno. Why? Because in case we want to play Logos again, we have 2 Logos cards. So that's 2 Rip to Ember if we play Logos. And the Skixuno, if we destroy the Infomorph, then we have only 1 and 1, so basically yeah, it's just risk management, right? But in this case, I think I should have destroyed Infomorph because I forgot that I have a lot of this card in my hand. So probably the next turn I will play this. That's why I should have kept the Skixuno instead of the Infomorph. Okay, so our opponent's thinking pretty hard right now. We do have the control of the game so far. We also have Mark of this, so in the next turn we can force our opponent to, well, we can only force our opponent to play this again because Gloriana's is only 1 power, so Mark of this will actually destroy Gloriana. The effect that will force the opponent to pick Gloriana's house, which is Untamed, will not trigger because Gloriana's dead. But let's see. Our opponent haven't played the best card in Taciturn, which is Painmail. Still not there yet. Second Snaret played. No Painmail yet, so that's pretty unfortunate for our opponents. The Painmail is in the bottom of the deck. And I believe our opponent's very how do you say it? It's a very good time to use the Painmail because the 2 Infernates that we have already used and already in the discard pile, so he can use Painmail without being worried that the Painmail will be purged by Infernates, right? And then he have three more cards in his deck, so he will basically, if the Painmail somehow get destroyed, it will shuffle back to the deck, and we won't have the chance to we may miss the chance to play the Inverness to purge the pain mail. So let's see here. Of course we can play this, but if we play this, what we can do is we can get back all of our untamed card from this. But here I choose to play Shadow first, not Shadow, Untamed first to wipe the board. Basically we don't want Starret there. We want to destroy the Starret so it doesn't keep capturing our Ember. And then we have Resurgence. So the best Untamed, one of the best Untamed creature is Fandangle. So I think that's one. But then we get the second one, which I believe can be Inverness or can be Emberspine Mongrel. It depends. If Emberspine Mongrel, we get the efficiency and played it. But this actually I count the deck, right? I don't want to draw the last card in my deck, so that's why I take the Inverness instead of Emberspine. If we have Emberspine, we will end up playing the Emberspine, and then we have six cards in our hand, and then Daughter, because we have Daughter, we will get the last card in our deck, so that's 7. And then the next time we play card, our deck will be shuffled, right? No. So it's our deck not shuffled again, but here's the tricky part. We have Grim Reminder with 1 draw pips. So right now is all our creature is in the discard pile. So if we play Grim Reminder right now, we will archive all the creatures that we want, right? But if our deck is at 0, the Grim Reminder will draw 1 card first before it archives creature. So our deck will shuffle first, and then we have 0 cards in the discard pile. Then we cannot use the Grim Reminder. So that's why I didn't take the Emberspine Mongrel, although it was a very good card. I chose to play Inverness. Now we can play this. We can play this house. But the tricky part is, do we want to give back the pain mail? So our opponent just played the pain mail on our Daughter. And I guess we gave that to our opponent because it's so much valuable, so much efficiency by to play this on this turn. See, we get the draw to draw our last card from Grim Reminder, which is Professor Terato, and our discard pile is still intact because our deck hasn't shuffled yet. And I archive all the untamed card, which is 8 untamed card. No, not card. I mean creature, untamed creature card. There are 8 creatures, untamed creatures, which basically all of them are slow creatures, which is basically they don't have a play effect, right? But some do have continuous effect like Pismire and Fandangle. But basically, our logos and this creature are much better than our untamed creature. That's why we just want to keep the untamed creature in the archive as long as possible, because by keeping 8 untamed cards in our archive, that means basically we will always get all the good logos and discard, and we will just keep playing logos and this every time, right? So we have the pain mail again, because we choose this, our opponent get back the pain mail and it's still in his archive. We'll see if our opponents will choose this again, but no, he chose Star Alliance and just set up some creatures, set up 3 creatures. So that's a very good chance for us to set up our board again. we don't want to play Untamed. We have 4 Logos cards in our hand, so we just play the Logos. We archive again. Eclectic Inquiry. We play QMAC and we draw to Reclaim by Nature, but the Reclaim by Nature is now it's tricky whether we want to play Reclaim by Nature or not, because it will purge our Dominator Bubble, because it must purge if we want to play it. So either we want to discard or we want to get the 1 Ember and 1 draw pips from purging Dominator Bubble. Now our hand is at 2-2 ratio, which is not a very good hand. That means we can only play 2 cards, except we want to play the Untamed. But our opponent just play Star Alliance again, and I think he just ripped 3 times with the Star Alliance. We still have the Snaret. Snaret will capture 1 Ember again next turn, so our opponent just will not be able to force the key, but he did have Quintrino Flux to destroy basically all our creature except for QMAC. So 8 Ember. Unfortunately, we cannot control 8 Ember except if we want to play the Untamed, to play the Pismire, to increase the key cost for our opponent, right? But other option, we just play with Dominator Bubble, and we can play this Dominator Bubble. We can use QMAC to fight and destroy itself, and then we can play what's Bonsao. Bonsao will enter play ready, and we can rip with Bonsao, and then if you want to destroy everything, you can destroy it with Kiksuno again. Other option is we can just play Logos. We can rip with QMAC, and then we can archive again our Savage class with Sloppy Life-Work, and then we can also discard the Reclaim by Nature, because maybe we don't want to use that Reclaim by Nature, we want to keep our Dominator Bubble, right? And then we can also destroy the Eco Alien with Boots in that Quark, our QMAC, right? So I think that's Logos, that's what I did here. We discard the Reclaim by Nature, we archive the Savage class, so we have 11 archive right now in our. That is something. 11 archive. Once in that Quark, we play or we discard. Let's see what I do here. In our we discard. Actually, we discard the bones in that Quark. So I think we don't want to clog our archive with more the QMAC, because I mean, right, I'd say at this point we will only take our archive if we really want to play the Untamed house, right? If we don't want to play the Untamed house, we won't take our archive because it will clog our hands. And this is the next turn. Now it's a good time to play. No, we cannot even play this because the QMAC will die. No, the Painmail effect will activate again if we play this. If we chose this house, so here finally we'll play our Untamed. So the trick is we can destroy QMAC by playing KOTE. So it ends up being useful once. So because KOTE have 1 power and QMAC have 1 power, we can only save one of them. Of course we save KOTE and we destroy the QMAC. So the Painmail will go to the discard pile, and our opponent cannot replay the Painmail, and then we'll just play all of our Untamed card. At this point, our opponent have cycled the deck, so maybe he get back the Quintrino Flux, he get back the Savage Fest, he got back the gateway to this. It's totally possible, and then wipe our board again. Totally possible. Bumblebird, Untamed, stat Savage class. But if we play Bumblebird first, then his Savage class is not. I think it's a mistake because he will end up saving Bumblebird instead of the Bonsau, which Bonsau is much better creature, right? With 5 power, Bumblebird only have 1 power. Pretty much useless. Let's see. Yeah, it's Savage class, and he just saved the Bumblebird instead of Bonsau. But I guess he now have 3 untamed creatures, so if he want to, he get more bursts, Ember bursts if he want to play untamed. Here we can play Shadow. We have a lot of Shadow card. We can play Inverness to purge the Painmail and make our opponent lost 2 embers. And we can purge one other card that has Ember Pips. No, our opponent doesn't have a second card that has Ember Pips, so we just will purge the Winter of Flux. One of the good creature control, right? And we do have a lot of creature with power 4, so I think it's good to destroy the Winter of Flux. We have Bonsau, we can rip with Bonsau, and then we have Skixuno. Do we want Skixuno? Or we just discard the Skixuno? I think we just discard the Skixuno, right? I mean, like, we have 3 creatures, we don't want to destroy our 3 creatures, right? We'll just, and our opponent creatures is not that useful anyway, Bumblebird and Evil Ape. So I don't think there is a need to play Skixuno. But we do have Grim Reminder again, so we can archive all of our untamed creature again, which was just getting wiped with Savage class, right? So I think we'll get back all of our untamed creature here. I think that's no, that's not what I did. I actually archived this, which means I archived back an Inverness. I think Inverness can be used to control the Ember again, right? Right now our opponent doesn't have any card with Ember and has this card pile, so we can use the Inverness to purge our own card in our discard pile probably to control the Ember if we need to. But our hand also, we have Effervescent Principle, but we are currently at 5 embers, so that's 1 more ember to forging our 3rd key. So with Logos we can play Sloppy Work and then force our 3rd key. Now the tricky part is the Anguish. Anguish, if it has damage, it will increase our key cost, so we don't want the Anguish to receive any damage. So basically we will discard the Infomorph and what bot is that? I forgot that. So he cannot use the Infernus to attack, but we can play Daughter because Daughter have elusive, and basically Anguish cannot fight Daughter to receive damage, right? Because there is elusive there. So here I also check with the discard pile and what else the card that our opponent have, and I believe there is not much more Ember control that our opponent can have except from the Anguish in the battle line. We also do still have Inverness, right? So that's one way to prevent. Wait, or did we purge the Inverness? I forgot. I think he does still have Inverness, so maybe he can survive this turn by playing Inverness. But here I'm just going to archive a card, and then I'm going to discard some cards. And I discard Infomorph. I discard also the Umbra bot. That's it, the Umbra bot this can have. And we play the Daughter. Daughter will give us 7 cards in our draw step, and then language cannot be used to fight daughter. And GG. So our opponent didn't have any Ember control left. Okay, so we won the game, we won the reversal game. And I was actually the last to play the match in our team. And good news is we won. We won this round. So we also won the adaptive round. So that means we will go to top 8, which we are going to fight Rip Out. Okay, well, that's I think that's very good progress that we have. Much better than KOTE9 that we did last time. Okay, so thanks guys for watching. Look forward to the next match in the top 8.